Why do Christians think Jesus needed to be crucified? Though Christians generally agree that Christ's death on the cross and his resurrection from the dead are the most important central doctrines of Christianity, nevertheless, not all agree as to why Jesus needed to die. There are several atonement theories which offer alternate doctrinal reasons for Jesus' horrific death. The Christus victor theory states that Jesus' atonement was enacted as a victory over evil, sin, and the devil. It is a defeat of the powers of wickedness which exist in the world. The ransom theory holds that our sins have sold our souls to Satan. Christ, through his death, paid our ransom or bought our souls back from the devil. The satisfaction theory claims that our sins knock out of balance the divine scales of justice. Sin is an injustice that puts things out of balance. Christ died to restore that justice, thereby balancing the divine scales. The penal substitution theory teaches that sins have penalties attached to them. Someone must pay the price for the wrongs committed. Since we can't pay the price ourselves, Jesus stood in as our substitute, or surrogate, suffering in our stead and meeting the demands of justice. The governmental theory is an extension of the penal substitution theory. It claims that Jesus died in our place to satisfy God's wrath, but unlike the penal substitution theory, Christ didn't suffer the exact punishment we deserve. Rather, his death pays in a general way for sin. The moral influence theory is that Jesus' life and death set an example for humanity, an example of self-sacrifice and love that we must embrace and follow if we hope to be redeemed. The scapegoat theory claims that when some risk appears in society, people single out a person or group as a scapegoat and then banish or kill them so as to restore society's well-being. On the cross, Jesus was humankind's scapegoat, and yet he was innocent. Thus, his atonement teaches us to break the cycle of accusing others who are innocent, or less guilty than we want them to be. His atonement is instructive, exposing our sinful ways rather than paying some price for sin. The divine experience theory asserts that Jesus is equipped, through his atonement, to succor us in our sins, weakness, and even infirmities, because he experienced them during his passion and therefore understands sinners when he was never himself a sinner. The various theories are not mutually exclusive, and some Christians hold that Jesus died for each of these reasons, while others embrace only one or a few of the theories. But each in its own right seeks to explain why Christ had to die for God's fallen creations.